The resignation of President Mubarak in Egypt has delayed the event here. Vice President Biden was supposed to start at 11:30 this morning, but a U of L spokesman tells us that because of the Mubarak resignation, the vice president was being briefed, and now the situation has been delayed here, although we're told that the vice president is on his way and the event will start shortly. Of course, Vice President Biden, before he was elected the 47th Vice President of the United States in 2008, was the longtime chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and dealt with these types of situations. He was briefed, we understand, on his way over here, so we do expect he is probably going to address the resignation of President Mubarak in Egypt in his remarks today. So certainly very interesting timing that while he was on his way here to Louisville, and then he learns about this situation, and now his first public comments are going to be made here at the University of Louisville about the situation in Egypt. It was just yesterday that CIA Director Leon Panetta told the U.S. Congress they did expect President Mubarak to step down. He has now done so. We are waiting for the vice president to arrive. Some 1,200 people are here. We were told that actually 2,000 people requested the free tickets, but it is a full house of 1,200 people who have been waiting patiently, and we expect this speech will begin shortly. We will bring it to you live coming up at 12:30.
The new report raises ethical questions tonight about the Louisville Metro Councilwoman whose relatives were paid in a summer jobs program with city tax dollars.
An audit released today says Metro Councilwoman Judy Green ran the program and 12 of her relatives benefited. In a WLKY investigation exclusive, Andy Alcock joins us now with reaction from the councilwoman and this new audit. What it says. Andy?
Rick and Vicki, the councilwoman has several issues with this report, including what she says are several factual errors.
To learn about being somewhere on time, the interview process, and to learn these skill sets.
An emotional Councilwoman Judy Green discusses securing funds for a summer jobs program called the Green Clean Team. This newly released Metro Louisville audit raises questions about how that money, part of a $55,000 Metro grant to the nonprofit Life Institute, was spent. The program was designed to give young people in Green's council district jobs, essentially cleanup or green environmental work.
Everybody that interviewed got to work.
According to the audit, those employees included 12 of Green's relatives who received $3,580. However, she says only 8 of her relatives, including children and foster children, were part of the program, as well as her husband, who she says helped supervise it without pay when she saw problems.
My children and the foster children that lived with me, they live in District 1, just like my neighbor's child, just like my friend's child down the street from me. So my children were participants.
Green says she did not consult the Metro Ethics Commission about her family participating because she didn't administer the program. She says she was working 3 days a week as a dentist while it was going on. So there was no favoritism?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so the bottom line here is you don't feel like you've done anything wrong?
No, I haven't done anything wrong.
Okay. A complaint to the Metro Ethics Tip Line led LMPD's Public Integrity Unit to look at this case. The investigating officer found no criminal activity, but stated the grant process lacked professionalism and appears very unethical. Councilwoman Green finds it very troubling she was never interviewed by the Public Integrity Unit. Andy Alcock, WLKY News.
Thank you, Andy. Now, the audit also found that the $55,000 of grant money there was documentation for use of only $26,730 of that money. The remaining $28,270, according to the audit, did not have sufficient documentation for its use. The audit has been forwarded to the Jefferson County Attorney's Office for further review.
No SB6! No SB6!
As you heard, hundreds of demonstrators rallied on the steps of the Kentucky State Capitol in Frankfort today to oppose Senate Bill 6. Andy Alcock joins us live from Metro Police Headquarters with a closer look at this immigration reform proposal. Andy?
Rick, this bill would give local law enforcement officers like LMPD more authority to check on a person's immigration status. However, protesters we saw in Frankfort today say it's a bad idea.
Si se puede! Yes, we can! Si se puede!
A bilingual chant rings through a crowd of people who want to stop the state Senate's immigration reform bill from becoming law. Among them was Clarissa Magallanes, who brought her 2 sons, Miguel and Brandon, to the rally. The family family has already felt the impact of U.S. immigration law. Clarissa's husband, Oscar, has been deported to Mexico, has never seen the couple's third son, and has been barred from legally re-entering the U.S. for 10 years.
He's really trying to get back here to support his family, and he doesn't even have, a criminal history or criminal background. He's just trying to get back here.
We all welcome and appreciate legal immigrants coming here.
But State Senator John Schickel, a co-sponsor of Senate Bill 6, says Kentucky, like the rest of the country, has a problem with illegal immigrants. The former law enforcement officer says the proposal to give local police power to question someone's immigration status if there's probable cause to do it should be a wake-up call to the federal government.
If anybody thinks the federal government's doing their job in this area, I certainly haven't met them yet.
But one of Schickel's colleagues, State Senator Perry Clark from Louisville, spoke at the rally against the bill.
And those that will use fear and use you for political purposes should be rejected.
I think if this law passes, it's going to be very inhumane and very discriminatory, and they just don't understand how many lives it's really going to destroy.
The bill is scheduled to get a hearing at a State House committee tomorrow. However, the House itself is taking a different approach to immigration reform. A bill to require any businesses getting contracts with Kentucky state government to prove all of their workers have legal immigration status overwhelmingly passed the House today by a 90-6 vote.
There are new accusations tonight against the Archdiocese of Louisville. A 17-page lawsuit filed today is somewhat different from previous suits involving sexual abuse by priests. Andy Alcock is here with details. Andy?
Vicki, this new lawsuit claims despite a policy and promise to protect children from sex-offending priests, a local church harbored one. And it claims when an employee complained, she lost her job. St. Therese Catholic Church in Louisville's Germantown neighborhood is now at the center of a new lawsuit. In 2009, WLKY reported a claim of sex abuse against this man, Father James Shook. The Archdiocese placed him on a leave of absence from St. Ignatius Martyr Parish.
He has not denied nor he has admitted. He has basically said that you need to do what you need to do to investigate this.
According to the suit Gary and Margie Wider filed, Shook was secretly brought to St. Therese to live. The complaint says Shook moved about the parish unsupervised around children, including in his bathing suit. When Margie, who worked at the church as a bookkeeper and secretary, complained, the suit says parish priest Tony Olgus told her to keep quiet. Other leaders allegedly told Margie Shook deserved to be taken care of. And she says when she confronted Shook herself, he said the Archdiocese owed him a place to live regardless of his crimes.
Besides telling her to be quiet, they fired her. And at 63 years old, she lost benefits, her income.
Her husband, Gary Wider, says he was traumatized by Shook's presence because in the 60s, he was abused at St. Therese by Father John Scherzer. Gary's cousin Tom says he too was abused by Scherzer at St. Therese.
He would take and get you in a headlock, and he'd take my face and shove it down in his crotch area.
4 members of the priest sex abuse victims group SNAP, including Tom Wider, all condemn the actions of the Archdiocese in this new case.
They don't have a clue about restoring trust.
I think it's terrible, what they have done in the past and what they're still doing.
It's contrary to what they said they would do.
It's the arrogance of the Catholic Church. It doesn't surprise me.
This afternoon, the Archdiocese issued a statement indicating leaders there are surprised by today's lawsuit. They say Margie Wider's position ended as part of staff reductions when the parish offices for St. Therese, St. Elizabeth, and Holy Family merged. And they say she was assisted to find a new job at a different parish.
It's the third largest project in the federal highway system.
To complete the Ohio River bridges, it's currently estimated the total cost will be close to $4.1 billion, and we are paying for it.
WLKY's Andy Alcock has been investigating where your tax dollars have gone so far. Andy, how about it?
Rick and Vicki, we filed open records requests for itemized accounting of what's been spent so far and where it's gone. Construction hasn't even started. It's scheduled to begin in about a year and a half, but so far, more than $163 million has been spent on the project. So what did you get for $163 million? The football home of the Cardinals, completed in 1998, total cost $63 million. The expansion of the stadium, another $72 million. Grand total, $135 million. The brand new state-of-the-art U of L research building near University Hospital, $143 million. The total cost for those facilities less than what's already been spent on the Ohio River Bridges project.
Certainly quite a bit of money has been spent.
John Sackstetter is overseeing the task of making these animated visions of the Ohio River Bridges project become reality. The massive project is divided into 6 sections. They include the 2 bridges, the 2 approaches to the bridges from the Indiana side, and the 2 approaches from the Kentucky side.
The faster we can do this, the less it's going to cost us.
Recently, Kentucky and Indiana's governors and Louisville's mayor announced they've directed the Bi-State Bridges Authority to cut at least $500 million from the $4+ billion price tag. Part of the savings targets the most expensive part of the project, the reconfiguration of the Kennedy Interchange, better known as Spaghetti Junction. Engineers are now working to create a scaled-down plan. But before that announcement, $2.2 million has already been spent to buy the Bear Fabrics building on East Market. $3.6 million for the grocer's cold ice and storage building on East Main. More than $48 million spent on engineering design and other elements. A grand total of $54.2 million spent on a plan not going to be used. The redesign of Spaghetti Junction is back on the drawing board.
Certainly there will be some lost, but there's a lot that will still be able to be utilized.
As the project manager, Sackstetter is also an owner of one of 3 firms overseeing the design of all 6 sections. Through 2010, those firms have been paid better than $23.5 million.
We're certainly in it to earn profit, and yes, we have been profiting from the project.
Through last year, $54.2 million spent on reconfiguring Spaghetti Junction. Another $61.2 million spent on the other 6 project sections. And $47.9 million spent on project-wide costs. The grand tally through July 1st, 2010 spent on the Ohio River Bridges project, $163.3 million.
I feel confident about where we are right now and that the money we've spent has been spent wisely.
This type of project is like you go build a house. You don't take a cocktail napkin and draw what your house plan is and say go build it.
We mentioned the 6 sections of the Bridges project. Each one of them has different engineering and design firms. All of them are either from Kentucky or Indiana. Due to federal law, tens of millions of dollars are also being spent on this project for historic preservation and to protect the environment, the so-called mitigation costs. We'll take a look at where that money is going tonight at 11. This man is behind bars charged with breaking an infant's leg, and burglars hit a home in broad daylight, then leave behind thousands of dollars in damages. Good evening, I'm Andy Alcock. Steve Bergen has the night off. A Germantown home is burglarized in broad daylight, but the homeowner says his valuables weren't the only target. New tonight, a New Albany man is behind bars charged with breaking an infant's leg. According to our news partner, the News and Tribune, 18-year-old Andrew Hurd appeared in court this week on a Class B felony battery charge. Hurd says he was awakened last week by his girlfriend's 5-month-old son who was crying. Court records show Hurd admitted to becoming frustrated when the boy would not stay positioned in his crib. The infant was treated at Kosare Children's Hospital for a broken femur bone in his right leg. Hurd is being held in the Floyd County Jail on a $200,000 bond. He is facing 6 to 20 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. A Scott County mother of 2 was laid to rest today. A funeral service for Nina Cowan took place this morning in Lexington, Indiana. Cowan's body was discovered last month after police say her ex-husband, Robert Petty, led them to a location in Jefferson County, Indiana. Cowan was last seen in August leaving a music festival with Petty. He is currently in jail on unrelated charges and has not been charged with her murder. After more than 2 years, a central Indiana mother's nightmare comes to an end when she is reunited with her children.
I felt like I was at a funeral. I felt like my girls were gone.
In 2008, Lauren Dinkins' 3 daughters were abducted by their paternal grandmother, Laura Vivas, who violated a court order. Vivas fled to Mexico, where Dinkins says U.S. Marshals tracked them down.
How were you able to track down this woman?
We would like to stay away from that because, to be quite honest with you, when other children disappear, we want to be able to track them down by using those same methods.
Now 10, 5, and 3, the younger girls speak very little English. Their mother is trying to acclimate them with family photos. Their grandmother is facing up to 6 years in prison. The spotlight shined on 4th Street Live and hundreds of students this morning. The annual Doing